it's kind of, I'll be honest, it was kind of what we've seen of Kenny Pickett, though. 3 quarters of and then a fourth quarter comeback. And, you know, those plays in the fourth quarter where I'm assuming, if that shot that he took, it's probably going to be wearing off around that time, or it's not going to be as effective as it was when he took it. You would think that towards the end of the game or the fourth quarter, when that shot could be wearing off, that his accuracy or his throwing power would be affected in the opposite direction, and it wasn't. He was able to throw the ball down the field. He had a dime to Deontay Johnson, 35 yards down the sideline, and he made the wide open throw to Deontay for the touchdown. And there was even the I guess the other Deontay Johnson, which should have been a touchdown, but Deontay dropped where he kind of cut in front of. I think Allen Robinson ended up getting a penalty, or there was a penalty thrown because they hit Allen Robinson and got to do the plays over. So he made some of those throws. He made them accurately. The other times I'm not sure if it's how much is it the injury, how much is it him? Is he inaccurate? Because there's 20 other games that we've seen now. I think at this point he might be who he is, and I think the Steelers know that. So I think that what we saw in this game was a lot of what we saw last year after the bye, which was limit Kenny Pickett's throwing, limit where he's going to throw, and try to work in the run. And I think that's how they did to win this game, and I think that's going to be how they're going to win majority of their games. If they're going to do anything, it's going to be off of the running game. What do you think?
Well, we disagree on that, but we have for a while now. And I believe Kenny Pickett is improving. In the past, he's been slow on a lot of his progressions. He's improving in that aspect. He's staying in the pocket. He's not rolling, especially wide to his left. He's stepping up in the pocket better. He made a couple of throws where he went forward in the pocket and made accurate throws on the run. The ball was selling, but you could tell his mechanics was affected. Now, he misses passes, as all quarterbacks do. I was reading a tweet during the Kansas City-Miami game, and the guy was like, man, these guys, this is Mahomes and Tua, and they're missing some balls really bad. Right. But when you're established and you've proven yourself, you miss a throw or two, nobody pays no attention. Pickett misses 3 or 4 in a game, and it's the end of the sky's falling. It's the end of the world. I'm watching, his reads. Does he make the right decision with the football? And I've seen some improvement, especially there in the Titans game. The protection was much better, so he's more comfortable. Just having Broderick Jones out there, I'd rather him be on the left side, but if they got to play him on the right, play him on the right. I just know that you want to protect the young quarterback's blind side, especially one that's had durability and concussion issues. And to me, it seems kind of a waste to have Jones on the right. But even on the right, he just locked that side down. I think he gave up 1 pressure all game and 30 pass sets. So it was an improvement. All the line seemed to play better, just like they did the last time against the Rams when Jones was in there. So hopefully we'll still see that improve. That'll give them a running game, and that'll make Pickett's job that much easier.
Right. And I get that. All quarterbacks do miss. But what Kenny Pickett hasn't done, what other quarterbacks have, is have a breakout game. I mean, when you have rookie quarterbacks in the NFL like a C.J. Stroud, a Willis,
yeah, but I keep hearing. I got to interject. I keep hearing that, and everybody spent the whole weekend comparing him to every other quarterback in the league in one form or another. The problem is who's had a quarterback that's had a breakout game in Matt Canada's offense, and we could just even stick with the Steelers. We don't even have to go back to all these college failures. Nobody is going to have a breakout game in that offense. That is not how the Steelers run this offense. They will not do it.
It doesn't. If you don't have a quarterback that can push the ball down the field, you're going to have an issue there. Ben Roethlisberger at 40 years old, on a bum arm, is not going to push the ball down the field. Mitch Trubisky coming in last year is not going to push the ball down the field. Heavens, we've seen what he is this year when he's come in. We've seen what he was last year when he came in. He's not a good quarterback. So right there, those two examples under Matt Canada really shouldn't be a reflection of who or what he was. Now, we had Kenny Pickett come in the middle of last season, and it wasn't what it was there. Now, we've seen in the last couple of games where Matt Canada has called a decent game, and it's made me wonder is the Pittsburgh Steelers offense being held back because of the limitations of their quarterback? Is that the reason why the playbook isn't opening up? Because you do have to look at the other players in the league. For God's sake, Josh Dobbs did more, with Minnesota than we've seen with Kenny Pickett in the last, I don't know how long. And I would bear to say that there's probably a lot of people out there that were kind of looking at those situations where those two quarterbacks might be somewhat comparable. And Josh Dobbs was not a first-round quarterback. And so, I think that when you do have to look at the other quarterbacks in the league, you have to look at the fact that you have a C.J. Stroud throwing for multiple touchdowns. You have a Will Levis throwing for multiple touchdowns and looking how he looks. And, I mean, even if you look at Sam Howard or Howell, I don't think he's great or anything like that, but, it's kind of comparable, and he was what, third round? So, I think the Steelers reached on this side. And I'm not saying that the Steelers can't, win with this guy. I think they can. Is he improving? Yeah, he is improving. But is his rate of improvement where it needs to be?
There's nothing on the Steelers offense that where it needs to be. Nothing.
Oh, I beg to differ. I think the wide receivers are good enough. I think George Pickens can do a lot of things, and he's got a right to be frustrated. And when you look at the film,
he can pout really good.
And, yeah, he can. He's open a lot, and there are times where he was open.
He runs half-hearted routes. Everybody at the game was telling me he loafs when he doesn't think the ball's coming his way. I mean, there's so much evidence of character problems with him, and that's why he fell. The guy is an athletic freak. If he would have had character and not attitude issues and question marks, he would have been a first-round pick in a heartbeat, even coming off the knee injury. I mean, Deontay Johnson's a good receiver, but he just caught his first touchdown in, 2 years almost.
I understand that.
There's, Pat Freiermuth playing, but there's nothing on this offense. The title of the show, we're talking about the AFC North is an elite division. It's the best. Every team in the division's got an elite quality. The Cincinnati Bengals have Joe Burrows, two really good receivers, and they got an elite offense. The Baltimore Ravens have balance, maybe the best balance of any team in the NFL, and that makes them elite. And the Cleveland Browns have the most aggressive and suffocating defense in the league, so that's their elite quality. What's the elite on the Steelers? You've got the edge rushers. You've got an opportunistic defense, but how long that holds out, we don't know. And you got an elite kicker. Other than that, there's nothing elite on that Steelers offense. And that could be a problem. Now, I'm not saying they can't develop and improve and be able to be not so top-heavy. But they're going to have some luck and some good decisions, right personnel usage. But it can be done in the second half of the season. But if you look at that division, the team that I worry about falling off at this point would be the Steelers.
No, I'm absolutely with you on that one. I think that the Steelers are the ones that are kind of on that edge. But I will say this, out of the last few games, had the Steelers had an accurate quarterback, those games I think Jacksonville would have been a very possible win there. And I think that this game against the Tennessee Titans would have been a blowout. A lot of points were left on the field in both games.
If Pickett wouldn't have got hurt, I believe they would have beat Jacksonville.
I agree to that. I will agree to that.
Not with Trubisky, no way.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that, Trubisky is who he is. We've seen him for, his entire career. He is who he is. I just think at a certain point, and I'm not saying that right now is that point, but if this doesn't improve, they're comparable to the NFL